Hello, how's it going? My name is Andrew, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. This lighting is terrible. If I turn this way, it's marginally better. Anyway, this is an unedited iPhone video. I didn't even bother to plug in a good microphone. I'm at school right now practicing, and I've been wanting to make some update videos for a while. I've posted a couple recent things, which is the first I've really uploaded any real content of my own since last summer, which is crazy. It's been a long time. So in any case, it's been a long time overdue for me to update you on the violin situation. That was a terrible, anyway, words are hard sometimes. Anyway, 3.5 years ago, in May of 2022, I made a video about my beautiful John Juzek violin that my teacher gave me, and I told the whole story about that beautiful instrument and how much I really loved it. And very sadly, I won't drag you through the whole story, but a few months later, in August of 2022, I took that violin back to a luthier, a different luthier who was highly recommended, to get a checkup done on it. And it turned out that there was a crack that I already knew about that was repaired, that I had been told was okay for now. But this different luthier was very suspicious about it, and he was like, we need to investigate this further. So he went ahead and he had a little camera, a cool camera gadget, which he stuck into the F-hole of the violin and was looking around at the underside of the top plate. And he found several cracks, not just one or two, but like 6 or 7 that were all very close to the bass bar. And essentially the conclusion was the amount of work that was needed to actually properly repair that violin was going to cost more than it was worth. So very sadly, that violin was deemed unplayable, and I was borrowing a school instrument for a while. At that time, I was studying at Temple University, and in the meantime now, some of you may not know, I study at IU now, Indiana University, the Jacobs School of Music. This is my 2nd year here now as a master's student, and it's fantastic. Really grateful to be here, and it's a really great program. But anyway, while I was at Temple, I was borrowing a school instrument and also had my Dickinson violin, which I've talked about before. That violin belongs to my great uncle, but has been in my care for, how long? 8 years? More than 8 years now, I think. And it's a decent instrument, but I don't think it's really a professional quality violin. So I was kind of searching for a good violin of my own. I suddenly didn't have one. So a friend, a dear family friend of ours, who is a wonderful musician himself, he told me, you know what, Andrew, I know a guy who is an amateur luthier, self-taught luthier. He lives way out in the middle of nowhere, and he does work on fiddles. You know, he finds violins, some of which are actually quite nice instruments, but he sets them up as fiddles, and he buys and sells them, and all of his work is just self-taught. And you know, you have no idea what you might find in his collection, but it's possible. There's a small possibility you might find a really good instrument that might not be properly set up, but you might be able to buy it for much cheaper than you could have bought that same instrument from a reputable dealer or luthier. And I was like, well, sounds like at the very least a really fun field trip. So we went to this man's house. He's in his 90s and still doing great, but he was starting to want to get rid of a lot of his instruments. He had like over 200 violins in his house. So I was there and I played a bunch of his instruments for like a few hours and ended up finding this, which is an Ernst Heinrich Roth Amati model violin. And it's gorgeous. I mean, look at the scroll, look at the sort of quilting / striping in the maple, or flaming, I guess that would be, in the maple on the back. It's a gorgeous instrument. And it is, being an Amati template, it's not the kind of powerhouse violin that the like Strad copy Roths normally are, but it still is a beautiful sounding instrument, and it's very even, and I really kind of fell in love with it. And so I bought it and I took it back to Philly to that luthier and had him do a proper setup of it, and this has been my violin ever since. That was January of 2023, so we're getting close to 3 years now that I've had this violin, and it has been my instrument. So that's a nutshell version of the story of this violin. These beautiful rosewood tuning pegs actually came off of my Uzek. I had just a few months earlier had these fitted to this violin, and I thought they would look really good on this Roth. So I bought a tailpiece that matches and had them refitted to this instrument, and it's just fantastic. Just a stunning, beautiful violin, which does have its limitations. You know, it's not a super high-level concert instrument, but it's a good violin that has been carrying me through all of my professional freelancing and all of my lessons and work on tons of repertoire over the last almost 3 years now. So very grateful to have this violin, and that is a violin update for you that has been long overdue. Anyway, please excuse the informal, unedited video. At the beginning, you heard me play a little of the Korngold second string quartet, which I am currently playing here at IU, and it's a fantastic time. So anyway, violin update. I have a couple other updates on instruments coming soon, and I hope you'll stay tuned for that. In any case, hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!